I'm slipping, baby. 2 in the morning means that you're talking to Jesus. So I'm gonna talk about this freaking 6 to 8 hours sleep and What's happening? My name is Albert. Welcome to another workout with this soon-to-be 61-year-old. The reason why I announce my age here is because I'm not supposed to be here. Not like this. I'm supposed to have joint pain. My back's supposed to hurt. And why? Because when I turned 30, they had a projection for me. So when I turned 30, they said, oh, wait till you're 40, the joints pain, and And then when I turned 40, they said, oh, when you turn 50. And so there was always this 10-year freaking projection against what was going to happen to me, man. And so I ended up going that route because I was freaking living like them, and my back did hurt, and I did get joint pain, but no longer, bro, because I freaking take care of myself, bro, and I freaking work out here, and that's why I'm here, bro. And so now, let's get to the thumbnail. I keep coming across this information out there that's like, oh, if you wake up at 3 o'clock, you're talking to God, bro. He's visiting you at 3 a.m. Those who wake up at 3 a.m. are special people, bro. And I'm like, okay, bro, I'm going to be 61 years old, bro. Let me tell you the truth about this, bro. And then I'm going to do a dead hang, you know what I mean? The truth about this, bro, is that because I keep a particular pattern with life, I'm able to see something, and I'm going to deliver the realistic factor to you, which is that my sleep depends on the output during the day. My output during the day will determine the type of sleep. Okay, so now, I sleep so freaking good, it was a concern at first, bro. I wake up like this and confused, bro, like a child. And that's because what's happening is that I'm playing like a child. And so this is the deal, right? And then I'll do the dead hang, okay? The deal is that on freaking regular days, like where I'm not so active, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. And then on days where I'm semi-active, I'll open my eyes at 5. But when I'm super active, I sleep straight through, bro. And so that's something to catch, because we keep dividing, like, you know, when we're awake and when we're asleep, like that's ought to be divided. And so I'm sleeping, and so that's that. And so I'm awake, and that's that. No, those things ought to be looked at together, not separate, because if you look at it separately, then you probably won't catch what I'm saying, that the day influences your sleep. And so I'm going to get into this freaking swinging dead hang, bro. And then I'm going to come back here and talk a little bit more about sleep in general and the actualities of what I see. So I'm going to get to the dead hang and then come back and kick it with you. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Oh boy, let's see what I did this time, man. I don't know my record. I forgot. I think it's 1 minute and 20 seconds. And so, you know what gives up is not my freaking ability to hold. It's the freaking, it hurts my fingers. And so there's a certain way where if I'm lucky, I grab it really good, and that can freaking keep me holding a lot longer. And so Nevertheless, I got a freaking stretch that I needed, man. It's so good for the grip strength and wrist strength, man. Freaking dead hang is something that I'm incorporating more into my life because of the back decompression, bro. After a workout, bro, it feels incredible. And so now, back to the sleep, bro. Where was I, bro? So, you know, people want to make things up about if you wake up at this time, and so they want to attribute that to hormones, but we don't really think that the hormones work in sync with the rest of the day, the night, the evening, and that a real big part of our hormones that we stop talking about or I don't hear anymore is the freaking the hormonal changes through seasons and the hormonal changes. You know, you have a certain hormonal position in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Certain hormones like melatonin is released so that you can relax and wind into the day. And so like there's a lot of things that people don't miss. Like there's someone out there who's having a really hard time with sleep. And I'm trying to tell them, bro, start dimming the lights, start using like red lights, start winding yourself down so that your body could get used to it. Because if you're, let's say, hardwired and you're freaking antsy and it's 10 o'clock at night, that antsiness will stimulate you, and so you won't be able to sleep. And so these type of factors, because not only exercise, but our mental state also has a lot to do with our sleep. Because if I'm pressed constantly in the mind, then that freaking, the mind running and running and running and running and running, bro, that's going to keep me up because the mind will just continue. You could probably think of how that is so true when you have something that's pressing on you and, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night and it's there. And the first thing in the morning is there. And so with a mind that's working like that, bro, forget about sleep, bro. And so these things about, you know, if you wake up at 3 a.m., it means this and it means that and it means that, it's nonsense, bro, because you need to look at your particular life. Like, I can't answer for you. All I could do is point you with these little nuggets that I picked up naturally because I wasn't looking primarily to find out how and why my sleep got so much better. And a big part is that I meditate every single morning for 10 years. And so my mind knows how to quiet down and knows how to find a place because I now practice this meditation while I'm walking around, and you know, I know how to freaking lower my TPS, which is my thoughts per second. And so there's a certain point where my mind is just freaking just at ease. And so I practice my way into being able to do this. And so that, along with exercise, bro, between the both of them is primarily the reason why, except when I have to go to the bathroom, bro, that freaking messes me up. But if it wasn't for me needing to go to the bathroom, I'll sleep straight through all the time. Now, this is something important for me to share because since I'm going on 61 years old, that's not the record. The record is when you get older, you sleep less hours and you have lighter sleep, and this happens, and it's freaking like this thing without people looking at our lives. Because by just saying that, by studying people and the way they sleep, but not making the changes to them, and just taking something like, okay, I take tea to sleep, or I read to sleep, but without looking at what happens during the day, because we think that sleep ought to be at the time you sleep. Like, I need to sleep, and so you're trying to work on it at the time you're sleeping, but you're not thinking about what you did during the day. And so if you're non-active and your body wants to be active, your body will probably wake you up because it's freaking still fired. Like, it wants to freaking move and it didn't really exert itself to the point where it can relax. And so that's a good sign because that means there's energy within you that needs to be released. And so one way or the other, it ought to be released, which is a good sign because maybe you need to do more daily activities. Because what I noticed is that exercise just only in a pocket, it won't do, because I tried that and my sleep was still the same because it was mechanical. Like every day at 4 o'clock I'll go to the gym or something like that, and so it was mechanical. And so there was still things that I needed to do during the day. But when my life became overall active, but overall, like playing at 2 o'clock at the playgrounds for 2 hours and then walking here and walking there and then walking home from this, like my day is super active. Bowling, climbing, this place called Harborland jumps where I'm jumping for 2 hours, bro. And so these activities, bro, guess what happens when I go home, bro? I lay down and I'm like, but it's a natural sleep that occurs, not that I need to try to make myself go to sleep. The other thing is that my sleep habits is freaking, like I may go to bed at 9:30 or 10, and then sometimes at 1 in the morning. So it really flows within the natural occurrences of life. There's a certain flow, a certain current in my life where my sleep is just never the same. And so I'm gonna do another hang and then talk about the nonsense about you need 6 to 8 hours sleep because that's freaking garbage too, bro. And so over here, Off the Chain Fitness, bro, I'm not selling you anything, bro. So I'm gonna kick it for real, bro. I don't need to. I'm not selling anything, which means that I'm authentic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about this freaking you need 6 to 8 hours sleep, and I'm gonna do this freaking other hang. I'm gonna try to hold good so that I can hold longer. I don't know how much I did, but I timed the other one just to compare with the other one. So keep it in mind that this hurt. I have to grip really good. And so come on. 1, 2, 3. Better. I got a better grip, baby. Okay, my left hand is stronger than my right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm slipping. I'm slipping, baby. Oh, my hands hurt. Okay, my hands hurt. Yo, bro, I know I did worse than the last time, bro. This is why I'm here. This is Off the Chain Fitness. I really take a look at my performances, and then over time, like I take a look at what happens over time, and it's just amazing because there's really nothing to grade anymore. Because I may come back 2 months later and hold for 2 minutes. It's like, this is the way my strength is. Like it varies. And so that's Off the Chain Fitness. So now back to this thing here now. This here, I also heard growing up that it's recommended that you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, which is a freaking crock, bro. And let me tell you why, bro. Because once again, the amount of time you sleep ought to be determined by your output during the day. And so naturally, man, you have to just think freaking common sense wise that if you're freaking running around and really busy and you're non-stop, bro, and your legs hurt, bro, then you're gonna want to go home and freaking lay down, and the chances of you crashing because of the amount of output are high. So you're gonna go to sleep, and so now your sleep will be accordingly. Or for me, it should be accordingly. Now, I almost got stuck there. Let me tell you why I almost got stuck. Because there was a time where no matter what I did, I fell asleep and woke up at the same time. And so I got caught right there. So I need to just address that bit right there, that when I was doing whatever and waking up at the same time, I was doing the same thing every day, more or less, which is the reason why I was waking up at the same time and kind of like sleeping almost the same, because my daily activities were at an even keel. That's very important, because I almost got jammed up there when I realized this, but now that is clear, because now what's happening is that I have a day on and day off fitness schedule. And so like today, my chances of waking up at 3 a.m. are high because I'm only hanging and I'm gonna do an ab workout. And so with me only doing that, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. That I know. But depending on the freaking ab workout and how it taxes me, could make me crash to 5. I open up my eyes at 5. Sometimes I open my eyes at 7. Sometimes at 6:15. And so it all depends now, because my activity level is so much higher. So now let me get back to the 6 to 8 hours. This 6 to 8 hours ought to depend on all your activities that you take on during the day to determine the amount of time you sleep. Now, naturally, you could take that little nugget that if you're doing primarily the same thing in your same schedule, then you should bet that your sleep assumes that. And so if you find that you're waking up at 3 a.m. every single day, maybe you want to experiment with adding on some type of a daily activity to see how that changes, because I can almost guarantee that it will change, bro. It has to change because our body is energy spending. It involves the energy spending. Or you may want to take a look at what you're doing with your head. Or if you're bringing your daily problems way into the night and you're causing your mind to freaking just stay there. And so this thing of 6 to 8 hours to sleep, I don't know where the hell that came from. I don't know how they could recommend that broadly, because there's no way in the world I could ever know how much you ought to be sleeping. Now, there's this guru, man, Suguru, he says he sleeps 3 to 4 hours, bro. And so this guy meditates, I don't know the state he lives in, so I can't identify, because he may live in such an environment that is just conducive to that, where he sleeps 3 or 4 hours and he's just up, bro. I don't freaking know. And so, but he really says that, and I don't think he needs to lie about that. I don't see the point. I don't see the catch. Like, yeah, I sleep 3 to 4 hours. It's not so that he could work. It's not so that he can have extra hours in the day. He's doing it basically because that's his freaking rhythm. And so I can't do that, because if I try to do that, I'll be tired all day, bro. There's times where I have to force myself back to sleep. Like when I do wake up and open my eyes at 5, I may jiggle with the computer, and I also know how to freaking lower my TPS. So I know how to get my mind to get into that stillness, and then I just conk out again, and then I wake up at 8:30, sometimes at 7, sometimes at 9, sometimes at 9:30. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not this freaking recommended 6 to 8 hours. My sleep patterns vary because my life varies, and so that should make so much freaking sense. And so that thing of freaking recommendations of how long you should sleep is freaking terrible advice, bro. Coming from professionals, bro, telling you how much you ought to sleep, bro. If you get a chance to watch children, you can see these kids how they differ. Like, I'm around 3 kids, and so we stay together, and so I get to see that one wakes up at 6, the other one stays to 7:30, the other one sleeps later. Now, the heavy set one sleeps more, but you see how that makes sense? The one that eats a lot, the one that's carrying extra weight, her body is doing a lot more and expending more because she has to move around a lot of weight. So because she eats so much, then she freaking sleeps more. The skinniest one wakes up at 7, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Now the other one that's less active, the one that less active gets up earlier. The one that's more active sleeps longer. You can see what I'm saying? And so you get to see this between us, the variables. And then you take your freaking actual life and you look at it. You say, oh, well, when I wake up, I go to the coffee shop, and then in the coffee shop, I sit down and I freaking do some work. And then after that, I freaking take the subway to my favorite restaurant, and then after the restaurant, bro, I go buy some fruit, bro, and then, and you're walking just a freaking, you get home at 4 o'clock, bro, you watch some TV, bro, and then you freaking lounge down, you're wondering why you can't sleep, bro, you didn't do enough. You didn't do enough, bro. And so you may want to take a look at if you're doing enough for life, bro, and which is a good thing. Hey, your body wants to do more. It's a beautiful message, bro. Your sleep could tell you lots of messages, mental messages that you need to lower your thoughts per second. You can do that, by the way. I can't tell you because there's nothing to teach with meditation from the system that is not a system either, but the way I meditate is non-verbal, so I can't explain it, but it can be done, is all I'm saying. You can quiet the mind down, but I'm not supposed to say quiet because there's no such thing as quiet. It's very difficult to explain, bro, because noise, you see that noise out there? It's the exact same thing as freaking that noise, that noise, that noise. They're all the same. I don't differentiate sounds. So therefore I can meditate with this noise or with nothing. And so it's the same. I don't differentiate. So, oh, bro, we get into meditation. I'll be here forever, bro. But all I want to let you know, if you hang on this much with the 3 a.m., your thoughts can sit back, fall back, do this thing where it's not racing and it's not thinking this and it's not the ocean of thoughts. It can do it. It can do it. I'm telling you. That's all I want to let you know, that it can be done. And so now, what happens now, bro? I'm having a freaking not strong freaking hanging day, bro. And so that's cool, bro, because these are indicators too. Like, I'm not hanging long. So, maybe I get different gloves, bro, because they're wearing out. The other gloves are more padded. You see what I'm saying? And so then, a lot of different things, bro. Messages come to me here, bro, on this channel, bro. For me to freaking coordinate my life and orchestrate it so that I could sound like this and announce that I'm shocked at my freaking sleep, bro. I sleep so good, bro. I sleep incredibly good, bro. But the day I wake up like this, where am I? I wake up like that, bro. And so I'm gonna do another hang, and then maybe come back and kick it or end it. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? And so come on. 1, 2, 3. Oh shit. Fingers came up, bro. The fingers came up. Yo, bro, one thing I can tell you about this dead hang here is that it's talking to me like my back is better. I can tell now because I had to give my back a rest from these freaking rollouts that I did last month, that I freaking went crazy with the standing rollouts. And I did this freaking incredible, intense rollout session that freaking caused, in a good way, my back to tell me, take a break. And so, the last time I did a dead hang, I can feel the freaking compression and the tension there, and now it's gone, bro. You see what I'm saying? And so this is Off the Chain Fitness, where we freaking live. This is a live channel where I have homework tomorrow, which is to watch this video and listen to myself, watch myself, check out my demeanor. I get to see my state, my body. I get to really take a look, and the beauty about this is, in retrospect, I watch my videos 2 years that I did 2 years ago, and I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing that I'm thinner, I'm looking a little hollow, and then there's other ones where I'm freaking just, the spirit is freaking fired up and I feel like I'm more defined. And then I realize things like that I need to be heavier. I see that I can't go on these freaking diets, because at my age, if I lost a lot of weight, there's more wrinkles that I'll see because of the saggy skin and things that are within the condition of my age and that I'm freaking aging. And so these things tell me, like, I'm having more ice cream now because of this, because it's like I realized I could afford it because I was way too strict and I didn't have to. So instead of having ice cream twice a month, now I have it twice a week. And because I'm so active and, I'm cool now. I'm cool now with a freaking, if I gain a belly or the love handle thing, I'm really cool with it. Before I was so conscious trying to freaking really, really do it. I'm really freaking cool with it, which is a nice way to say that I'm aging gracefully and that I'm not out to get anything. And because I'm just living life, bro, and freaking just doing these exercises and filming and having this homework where I freaking study myself, I get to really narrow in on a lot of things that I ought to do with myself. And I get to really see that there's no such thing as guilt from having cake, guilt from having, there's no such thing anymore. I used to always feel guilty, or I used to try to make up for it. Like, I'll have ice cream and then say, oh, now I'm gonna run to like try to burn it off, and it doesn't work that way. This is the problem, that people are using vices that just don't work. It's just a game that we're playing. Like, you have the cake and then you freaking run on the treadmill. It doesn't work according like that. All you're doing is playing with a certain idea that you've gained weight from the cake. Like, if when you exercise, it burns that off. It doesn't work that way. Your body has a systematic thing where it could take days to process. You could take a look at that. You could take a look at the way muscles grow. When muscles grow, it's not like you did the push-ups and then you could look at it and say, yeah, my muscles grew from that. The muscles come on maybe a month, 2 months later, where someone tells you, yo, bro, you working out? That's how it works. And in that same way, when we burn things off, we're not burning off yesterday's meal. We think that way, but we're not, bro. And the reason why I know this is because I've been weighing myself and monitoring my weight for 8 years consistently, bro. And there's just freaking times where unexpectedly I make a freaking dip of 4 kg, bro. A dip. And I'm like, how is this freaking happening? Is something wrong with me? And nothing's wrong, bro, but my body does that. Then there's a certain time where I put on more weight. And I can see that because I'm examining, years of my fitness journey, and I'm taking a look. And so I'm able to see these things because of that. And so this is what I mean. Like, we're just making things up, bro. Like, if anyone just eats, I can't say that either, bro, because I'm not you. So I'm not giving advice. That's another freaking thing here. I cannot give advice because I don't know who the freaking is watching it, or what you're doing, or your genetic factor. I don't know your eating habits. I don't know none of that. And even if I did know, I can't tell you to eat fruit like me because I do. It works for me, bro. I don't know what works for you, bro. You may want to eat carnivore. You may want to freaking eat like whatever, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know how these people are recommending things like that, bro, to an individual at the freaking entire other. You are another entity, bro. And so you gotta go out and figure things out. Like, maybe you could take nuggets, because I take nuggets from the science stuff out there, things that they say. Like when they said the bananas are calories, I started to eat 4 a day, bro. Nothing happened, bro. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm hanging out with friends, bro, and they're avoiding the bananas, and they're having cake, and the traditional dessert say, oh no, bananas are freaking high in calories. I'm like, what the fuck? You just had cake and all that stuff. I don't know. Yeah, bro, this is freaking off the chain fitness, bro. I'm gonna go and do a mini freaking hang and then say goodbye. And so anyway, man, I hope that you see that if you wake up at 3, it means this. If you wake up at 5, it means this. And if you wake up at 2, it means this. And it has all these meanings, bro. Find the true meaning for yourself, bro. Find it for yourself. For yourself. And then you go, okay, well, I'm sleeping better on account of turning off the lights, dimming it, playing a certain type of ocean sounds, meditating now in the morning. I force myself to wake up a little earlier, and I do certain things. I added more to my activities, and on account of that, I'm sleeping better. Or I notice when I went on vacation that I slept better over there. It could be your bed. It could be the way your room is freaking furnished, because it's a stimulus. Your room has to provide a sleeping atmosphere for you, so that when you are into your room, you go into lounge mode and you go. So all these things are part of the smell. Smells can wake us up, bro, because we have senses. And so if your room is not freaking up to par with your body, and your senses are picking up an odor, you'll freaking wake up from the freaking the odor, bro. And so you know what I'm saying? You see how freaking this is off the chain fitness, bro. This is the freaking organic channel, bro. It's organic, bro. This is the freaking organic channel where you get to figure things out for yourself, bro. Not that I'm gonna tell you, you know what? You know, do you sleep 6 to 8 hours? You know, because if you don't, it's because of this. At what time do you wake up? 2 in the morning means that you're talking to Jesus. Nah, bro. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my last hang and then freaking say goodbye. So come on. 1, 2, 3.